Okay, so this is going to be my quick review of the Rogue SML series of half racks or squat stands. That's the Monster Light half racks. Specifically, the one I got is the SML-1. So that means that it is a little bit shorter, the uprights, and that it does not have a pull-up bar. So one of the first things you can see about this, the hole spacing is fantastic. 1-inch spacing basically, so west side spacing. And that starts, as you can see, as you get to kind of the bench press position, right? Now, one of the cons with that, of course, is that, as you can see, there's no numbering here. So for something that's so expensive, around $800 with the safeties, you can check my article to get the full price. But yeah, for something so expensive, there's no numbering on there. So it's really hard to kind of line those up. Now, of course, you can just take a white permanent marker and mark those, or a silver one, or you can just, put stickers. I've seen some people do to mark them kind of yourself. But that's one con there. And as you can see, the safeties here are fantastic. Those are massive. They're the longest I've seen on a half rack. And they seem pretty damn sturdy. The rack altogether is very, very heavy duty. You can tell that the construction is done very well. It's one of the most solid racks I've seen. And look at that. I mean, it's not moving at all. It's actually very hard to move the thing. It's so heavy. It's more than 100 pounds, I believe. Now, having said that, it's very easy to put together. It was no problem putting this together. And you can see my construction GIF to kind of see how quick it is. It does have a very high weight capacity, so 1,000 pounds, which is pretty impressive for a half rack. The material, it's also coated so that it is rust resistant, which is important because, as you can see, I have this one right now kind of outside. One problem I did have that I didn't appreciate is that there were no tools given whatsoever. Luckily, of course, I had all the parts I need, but these bolts are pretty big. I'll have to get the exact number of them, but they're pretty damn big. So if you don't have the tools, you may have to go up to Home Depot and get what you need. Also, another problem is that it took forever to ship. Now, some of that, of course, is because of the coronavirus, right? I bought this during the virus. So I think I ordered it and it finally came in maybe a month later. Now, one big problem, of course, is when it came in, for one thing, it didn't have the safeties. That was shipped later on. But also, I didn't have the parts I needed, so it didn't come with the hardware kit. So they had to resend that, which that took about 1 to 2 weeks, actually, for them to get that to me. And their customer service was pretty bad, honestly. They take forever to get back to you, 3 or 4 days at a time. So that's an issue. Also, one other thing I don't really like for something so expensive, this is the top of the line half rack, probably the best you can get if you have the money to spend on it. But one problem is that there's no mounts to kind of throw weight on the back of it. Now, it's pretty flat back here, so you could just throw some 45s on to kind of weight it down some more. So that's not a super big problem. But it would be nice to kind of see the mounts to put the weights on. One other thing, there's no way to secure it to the floor. Now, for a half rack, they're kind of meant to be a little more mobile, but it would be nice to see some mounts here to where you could kind of mount it into the floor. And this other half rack I have right now here actually does have those. You see? So that would be kind of nice to see that in a premium product like this. They don't have that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So to sum up kind of my, also the J hooks are fantastic. This is some of the best I've seen in a half rack without having to kind of upgrade them, right? But yeah, to summarize kind of my review, this is pretty much the top of the line half rack that you can get right now. And the price kind of reflects that. You pay a high price, but you do get a lot of value there. This thing will last you forever, essentially. Another great thing about the half racks I didn't mention is that they take up a lot less space, right? You can, if you take off the safeties, you're left with a lot of empty space where you can do a lot of stuff. It doesn't take up as much floor footprint as a full rack. So that's great. So yeah,